Just making sure I have everything I need. Not doing this the way I wanted to. I was hoping to be at home sitting on my PlayStation being able to do this, but just the way things have gone the last week or so and the way everything else has been, it's been a bit easier to do it this way, and you're just going to have to put up my accent and my face for once. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and share about this link a little bit. So I'll just point the phone away so I have to stare at my ugly head. Also, if you hear some weird noises, that's probably cars going past. I'm on my walk home from work, so things might get a little bit noisy at times. Let me see. There's the last man standing group. Right, so I'm just going to walk on a minute and I suppose give a few people a chance to get into the group. And if you can't hear me, just let me know. I'll try and speak up a bit louder than I am at the moment. But again, it's about 10:30, nearly 11 o'clock here, so I don't want to be waking up too many of the neighbours. Okay, we've one in. Hello, whoever you are. You can say hello there in the chat. Just explaining there, things are a little different today than they were supposed to be. I was originally supposed to do this stream on my PlayStation, but just with how the week has gone and everything else like that, I'm doing it this way on my way home from work. So you get to see a little bit of Ireland, not that it looks that great. And my ugly beard, for a better word. Okay, so look, I'm just going to crack on anyway, because not everyone else might tune in. Other people might pop along later. But basically what this is just to go through the rules of the game, best ways to set it up and stuff like that, and just to go over any little bits and pieces that you're unsure of. So the aim of the game essentially is to be the last man standing, and how you're going to achieve that is through head-to-head match play. So for anyone that's curious about whether there's a society or whether there's anything they need to join, none of that needed at all. It's all going to be run essentially outside of a society, just head-to-head matches. You're going to add whoever your opponent is in a create private match and work away that way, and that will essentially be how we're going to set it up. So the matches, each match is going to be played live against your opponent. If you want to stream it, that's entirely up to yourself, but it's not something that they're going to make you do. But you know, it's all for a bit of fun and everything else. And I know a lot of the guys like to tune in and watch. So if you do decide to stream it, share your links into the group, and I'm sure there'll be someone who'll tune in for sure. The other thing is just to make sure that you organise your own matches. So while we go ahead and put the fixtures together and organise who's playing who, at the end of the day, the match is the responsibility of the players. So you need to make an effort to basically put a time together for when you're going to play. Okay, so that's just a little requirement from you guys. Then I suppose the next point is to do with courses. So the courses we're going to use, they're going to be announced before the start of each round. So we're going to have, I think it's Viking Lodge Golf Club, we've Pikes Point Depot, I think, and Loch Garn. So those are the three we're going to use in the preliminary round, and I've posted the conditions in the group. If you haven't seen them, or maybe you're not part of the group yet, just hit me up with a message, and I'll add you into that group. So like I was saying, stage one is the preliminary, which is like your seeding round. All we want to do there is basically create a leaderboard so that we can organise fixtures based off that leaderboard. So rather than, you know, drawing names out of a hat and maybe getting things a little bit all over the shop, you know, people paired up with people who I suppose aren't of similar skill levels and stuff like that. I suppose just making sure everything is as it should be. So it's 3 games. Like I said, just to create a league table and make things make life a lot easier for myself for planning the fixtures. So it's 3 games. I've announced the courses. I've given you who you're going to play against in those 3 matches. After that, then it's really just a case of just playing those 3 matches within the next 2 weeks. So it's going to start tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, wherever, whoa, that was a puddle, that was close. But wherever, whenever tomorrow morning is for you, that's when it goes live, and you've got 2 weeks from tomorrow to get those 3 games in. For anyone who's just joined in, you're wondering why you're seeing my face and not the golf club. A little bit of a hiccup on this week, so it's just doing things a little different. Moving on, so we've got so once we've played those first 3 matches, the next stage then is the actual last man standing. And what happens there is each player is going to have 3 lives, and those 3 lives are going to be active and in play, I suppose, from this point forward. And from this point on, anytime you lose a match, you're going to lose a life. If you win your match, you're going to carry your lives over to the next match. So you win, let's say your 4th match, your 5th match, and your 6th match, you're still going to have your 3 lives. Sadly, if you lose your 4th, your 5th, and your 6th match, your 3 lives are up. Now stick a pin in that for a second. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. So like I was saying, you win, you carry over your life. You lose a life. You half a match, neither player loses a life. So you essentially continue on to the next round, both players, as you were. A little bonus as well for other players. Not that I'm imagining we're going to have too many, but you never know. Any hole-in-ones, they basically gain a bonus life. So what that means is they're not going to have like a 4th life or anything like that. But what they will have is that should they run out of their 3 lives, they get to call upon a bonus life and use that then going forward, okay? So that's just what that is. What happens if I'm out? So like I was saying, I put a pin in that there for a moment. So the very first person who loses all their lives is going to be granted that 4th life. Okay, so that's just the first person. Lose another match and they're going to be eliminated from the tournament. So it's basically like a little, just a little kind of hanging in for dear life kind of life is what that is. So when they get their 4th life, if they lose their next match again, they're completely out of the tournament. They win their match and they're still in. So once the 4th life has been given, every other person who loses their 3 lives after that point are going to be added to a list. Okay, so throughout the tournament, there's a likelihood that we're going to have odd numbers. It's just the way it goes. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that eliminated player list to bring players back into the competition and give them a second chance at it. And they'll be like the person who was eliminated first, they'll be given a 4th life. They lose the match, they're back out. They win the match and they stay in. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. So there also is no guarantee that everyone is going to get that second chance. So it is all about strategy. If you're relying on hoping that all your 3 lives are going to be gone and you know you're going to get brought back in on the odd numbers, it doesn't always work out. Can't imagine it's going to happen too much, but they're going to have an extra life there. Okay, then we're going to have the final stage, which is the final. Okay, so this is when we've reached our final 2 players. Hard to know exactly how long it's going to take. It could take 10 weeks. It could take 20. I suppose it just depends on how it goes and everything like that. But what will happen is once we're down to our final 2 players, both players will just have 1 life. Okay. So any bonus lives or lives they didn't use up over the entire course of the series going to be completely wiped away, and they'll just be left with 1 life. It's head to head, sudden death, all cards are out on the table, no holding back. Okay, the final is also going to be a head to head 36 hole match play event. Okay, so there's no need to worry too much about that now, but I already have the setup in mind for that, and how we're going to work that out. But again, that's plenty of weeks down the way. You don't have to worry too much about that yet. Okay, so some rules then. So I suppose things that just need to be established, I suppose, before we start is that one, all club sets are available to use. So starter, beginner, pro, or whatever they're called, master, pro, and starter, or something like that. All of them are in play. Okay, matches must also be used, or must be played. Sorry, using the correct course conditions. So the course conditions I've set up 3, like I was saying, for the preliminary stage. As long as you use those, everything will be fine. Any matches that are seen to have delved a little bit from the set conditions will be asked to replay their match. Okay. If both players refuse to play the match, then it'd be a loss of life for both players. That's just making sure that we have a fair and level playing field for everyone. Okay. It's each, as I was saying earlier, it's each player's responsibility to add your opponents on PSN and organise your matches. So, like I said, the list of matches have been put up in the group. All you need to do is find who you are, add them on PSN, organise the match. If you're not getting any response, or the person hasn't accepted your friend request or anything else like that, just let me know, give me a shout, and I'll be able to look after it from there for you. So don't feel like you have to stay in the dark on that. Just keep in touch. I always prefer if you stay in contact and let me know what the story is. Also, we have players in a lot of different time zones. Okay, so one thing, it's not really a rule, it's more like just something I prefer if everyone could do, is just try to organise your matches as soon as the fixture is announced. Just makes life so much easier, gives you way more time to try and fit it in, because I know there's a couple of guys in Australia, a couple of guys out in the west coast of America, east coast, and we've got some guys in the UK, and we're a bit everywhere. So just covers all bases. Make sure you just give enough time and get your matches organised. Okay. Just another thing, I don't feel like I ever really need to say this, but I think it's always important to say, and that's just to make sure you treat all players with respect. Any accusations, threats, insults, poor sportsmanship, they're all going to be reviewed by the organising committee and may lead to loss of a life in the game, not in real life, in the game, up to complete removal from the event. Okay. And the reason for that is just, kind of spoils it for everyone. We like to have a nice, fun environment for everyone to play in, and we just want to keep all the spoil sports out of it, basically. But if you have any issues, like if you feel like someone might be cheating or being unfairly treated, or someone's making, accusations or saying shit, just send me a message, let me know. I can't help you if I don't know about it. But like I said, just find my PSN. It's Cathalos, Cathalos 1991. Ping me a message and let me know what the story is, and I'll be able to look into that further for you. Also, just a couple of in-game rules. So first off, no chipping on the greens. Okay, so kind of falling under the TGCT rules there. Obviously, unless an obstacle is in the way, such as bunkers, rough, maybe some fairway or something like that. But if there's something in the way, no problem. Okay. Just again, place the correct tees and pins along with other conditions set out. So just make sure that you're paying attention to the conditions I've set. Like I said, if it needs be, I'll have players replay their match in the correct conditions. I don't want to, but it's just to make sure everyone plays on a level playing field. Then I think the last point really is just for matches and stuff like that, where to send your scorecards and stuff like that. So all I want you to do is take a screenshot or maybe a picture on your phone or something like that, and pop it over in a message to myself. Now I have 2 other guys that are on board helping with me. I've their names attached into the actual document as well, and that is M Scarn FBI, which is Ian Cook, and Darren Fairhurst, which is Fairhurst 1970. Okay, so those guys have agreed to help me out a little bit here. So if you can ping any of your scorecards over there, that'd be awesome. then they're all gone. What will happen is, so let's say, for example, I lose. Let's say, so we've played the first 3 matches, so 4, 5, and 6. I lose my third life in the match 6, and let's say Ian, for example, loses his life in match 6. If I lose mine before him, then I'm higher on the list. So it's literally going to be based on who gets their scorecards to me first. So it's, if anything, it kind of gives people a sense of urgency to make sure they get their scores in, get your matches played quick, because the quicker you get them in, if you go out, the higher you are on that list to get yourself back in. So it's all about strategy. It's all about working the system, for a better way, or a better word. But yeah, good question. Anyone else got any questions or anything like that at all? Or is it everyone happy enough? I'll just hang on here for a couple of more minutes. It is starting to rain, but it's not too bad. Okay, I think that seems to be it for the moment. I don't see any questions coming in on the thread for the moment, but like I said, if you're late seeing this video, you're seeing it a little bit later on than when I streamed it, just comment on the video itself. I gave you enough of my details in there anyway, so you can hit me up with a message or anything like that, and I'll be back in touch as soon as I can. But I suppose first and foremost, the competition is essentially live. As I know some of the guys are already in Sunday morning over in Australia. So the best of luck to everyone. I hope you have a really, really good competition. We had an awful lot of fun in the first one. It's not over yet, but we're nearly there. But I'm hoping this one can be just as successful, if not more. And I know everyone has a good time, right? So guys, enjoy your golf. Looking forward to... I'm not going to get around to playing all of you, that's for sure. Based on my own talent recently, but look forward to the matchups against the few of you, and like I said, best of luck guys.